All right, let's talk some must-add fantasy football running backs here for week 4 action. Alexander Mattison is my priority add here as we approach this next week's games here. It's a plain and simple, cut and dry situation. Dalvin Cook was knocked out of Sunday afternoon's game due to an undisclosed shoulder injury. At the time of recording this episode, we don't know, quite sure what that is. Last year, he did suffer a dislocation of his shoulder, so some interesting things could be at play here. There's the potential for re-injury of that arm. I know from past experience, once you separate a shoulder, it becomes a little bit more likely that that could be the case. I do not know the details if it was the same shoulder or not, but Dalvin Cook does wear a shoulder brace occasionally, or at least when I watch him play, I see a shoulder brace out there a good percentage of the time to keep that in proper placement, obviously getting him out there to play NFL football. So if for some reason he's not able to go, we did see him suffer that issue last year and then turn around and play a Thursday night football contest. He might not miss any time, but it is 100% worth your investment of a roster space to add Alexander Mattison here for week 4. Rostered in 54% of Yahoo Fantasy Football Leagues, 37.3% of ESPN formats. This is just something you need to have. If Cook is out, Alexander Mattison instantly becomes a lineup-worthy option here. They will cut him loose and give him the workhorse touches for this offense. He does have a tougher matchup here at New Orleans this coming week, but again, if that game script is favorable and manageable, meaning that they're in a close contest throughout here or have control of the contest, Alexander Mattison will have lineup value. He'll get the goal line carries for this offense, and he will see the valuable touches for this Vikings football team. So a priority add for me if you're looking for a running back that could be of use for next week, if you're thin at the position or want some, trade incentivization for the Dalvin Cook owner. Maybe you've got a higher waiver priority than them. Go out and make a play for Mattison. It could pay off for you in a variety of ways this week, whether or not he does play or not. Could be some trade bait as well. So Khalil Herbert, we actually had quite a few interesting dynamics at the running back position for this week. With injuries, Khalil Herbert is the next priority that I have here. Now, depending what we learn between now and, say, Tuesday, right before the waiver process on Wednesday morning, Khalil Herbert could become my priority add for week 4 here. But as things currently stand, I do think that if you get the option of having the Bears starting running back or the Vikings starting running back for your team, Alexander Mattison, that Vikings backfield take precedence. So Khalil Herbert for me, definitely someone that absolutely balled out this week. He's another player who, when given the opportunity to start, has delivered as a lead back for an NFL offense. Last season, he had himself a really nice game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a really sturdy run defense, and he's had some other flashes as well. In this game, we saw David Montgomery suffer a knee and ankle injury in the middle of their contest against the Houston Texans, and Khalil Herbert came in, took over the workhorse numbers, and didn't look back. He had 20 total rushes for 157 yards. He's very explosive out of the hole. 2 rushing touchdowns and 29 fantasy points in half PPR scoring. And alongside that, he added 2 receptions on 2 targets, a 100% catch rate for another 12 yards there. So 169 yards from scrimmage, a very explosive and capable playmaker here. And the best part about this is this Chicago offense is insanely run dependent. They lean on their running backs and play conservative football, protecting Justin Fields to a fault. In a game where they trailed and lost 27-10 against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football in Week 2, Justin Fields attempted just 11 passes. So Herbert, or whoever the lead back for this team is going to get the football. If Montgomery misses time, which he may be more likely to miss time than an Alexander Mattison here this week, therefore, again, that situation and dynamic could change where Herbert is the priority pickup come Tuesday afternoon when we've got more info here. This is someone that needs to be on your radars here and definitely someone to go out and make a play for. So Khalil Herbert, rostered in 48% of Yahoo Fantasy Leagues. Go check him out, whatever your format is. Of course, check his availability. It's going to vary between what platform you're playing on here. And then Jamaal Williams, our third running back to add here for Week 4 fantasy football, rostered in 60% of formats right now. Jamaal Williams is a guy who, despite not having his starter go down with injury, he actually came in with an injury designation this week. really got a nice chunk of this Detroit Lions backfield opportunity share. DeAndre Swift came in with an ankle injury. He took a rest day from practice earlier in the week. It sounded like things were trending positively. Things were going a bit better. It didn't ultimately play out that way, though. And for Jamaal Williams, that's critical because we saw in a game with DeAndre Swift on the field, carrying that injury designation into a game gave Jamaal Williams a lot of fantasy viability here. He ran the ball or touched the football 22 total times. He rushed the football 20 times. He had 107 total yards and 2 total touchdowns, 87 yards rushing, 20 yards receiving. Very, very strong production. This is a physical player who is competent enough at catching the football to be used dynamically in that facet of things here, and is also a player who has goal line utility even with DeAndre Swift on the field, or in the lineup rather, even in games when he's healthy. Go back to week 1 where we saw a similar dynamic where both Williams and Swift found the end zone. So if this is going to be a trend here in games where DeAndre Swift is nicked heading into contests, I am all over Jamaal Williams as someone who needs to be rostered. He's already rostered at a good percentage here, 60%, but this should be creeping into the 80s, even 85%, maybe higher. Even the shallower leagues, if you're a DeAndre Swift owner, it's probably a good idea to go out and get this share for your bench just because of the large role he's played in this offensive situation so far.